Teresa de la Parra, a Venezuelan author, wrote her famous novel Iphigenia in an abandoned house near the sea. Her benefactor, Emilia Barrios, promised her an inheritance as long as she didn't marry. Soon after, she moved to Paris, where she met Gonzalo Zaldumbide, an Ecuadorian diplomat who became her lover. While in Paris, she received a telegram. Emilia Barrios had died. She had to return to Venezuela. The ship she was traveling on stopped in Havana, Cuba. On board, she met Lydia Cabrera, a young Cuban artist who would soon move to Paris. Teresa offers to help her when she arrives. Lydia boldly gives her a card with her name and a message. Please do not forget me. Teresa receives Emilia's inheritance and an emerald ring that she leaves her as a symbol of her commitment. After returning to Paris, Teresa meets Gonzalo at the Hotel Astoria for dinner. By chance, Lydia is also there dining and comes over to greet her. Teresa invites her to tea the next day. From that day on, the two women were inseparable, much to Gonzalo's dismay and jealousy. Teresa finds herself caught in the middle of a rivalry for her love. The two women decide to travel to Italy, where their friendship flourished. Once back in Paris, their relationship turned into a more intimate one. Soon after their return from Italy, Teresa is invited to Colombia to dictate her conference on the influence of women in the formation of the American soul. Meanwhile, in Paris, Gonzalo confronts Lydia about her relationship with Teresa. He wants to marry her. Lydia tells him that it is Teresa's choice who she stays with, not theirs. After Teresa's return from Colombia, the rivalry continues between them. Lydia, meanwhile, has just published her first book about Black Cuban folklore and dedicated it to Teresa. Teresa begins to notice strange dark spots on her hands. After consulting her doctor, the diagnosis is confirmed. It's tuberculosis, a deadly and contagious disease. Teresa tells Lydia, who promises to go with her to the sanatorium in Switzerland. Teresa calls Gonzalo to tell him the news and say goodbye. Sadly, they never meet again. Teresa leaves for the Grand Hotel in Lausanne, Switzerland. The atmosphere is more of a hotel and not a sanatorium. She makes friends and tries to lead a normal life. At night, alone in her room, she listens to Hitler on the radio. Horrified, she turns it off. World War II is on the doorsteps. Once Lydia arrives at the Grand Hotel, Teresa feels comforted and hopeful of a recovery. Teresa receives news that the Venezuelan currency has suffered a devaluation and she can no longer afford the Grand Hotel. They both decide to move to a cheaper sanatorium in Spain, but Teresa is more depressed and her illness is getting worse. After much deliberation, Teresa decides she wants to move to Madrid and rent an apartment. It's 1936 and Spain is on the verge of civil war, and anarchists fill the streets. Teresa tries to write, but her coughing fits don't allow her to concentrate on her work. She is sad and frustrated. Her mother and sister come to visit. There is little hope of a recovery. After a very strong coughing crisis, Lydia calls her doctor, who prescribes a medication to help her breathe better. Lydia, who has lost all fear of it being a contagious disease, tries to comfort her. They listen to Teresa's favorite opera in bed. Before she dies, Teresa asked her sister to have her emerald ring engraved with the word goodbye in French and to give it to Lydia after her death. Lydia wore the ring for the rest of her life. Please do not forget me. She never would forget Teresa.